Hey there guys, aarava here and bringing you my F1 2014 game announcement video and trailer breakdown. F1 2014 has been announced, and before we get into all the news and trailer breakdowns, I'm going to let you just watch the trailer by itself on its own quickly, and then we'll get into the breakdown and analysis of it and other things. So that was the trailer for the F1 2014 game, which will be released on the 17th of October on the old-gen PS3, Xbox 360 and PC platforms, 17th October for the UK and 21st October for the US. So let's get into breaking down the trailer. So we've got some screenshots here. First off, we've got the Bahrain circuit. So confirming that they're doing the whole day-to-night transition. Good to see they've put the floodlights in. Looks pretty good at the moment. I'm not going to lie, though, it just looks like F1 2013, to be honest. A lot of the screenshots don't look too high res. Obviously, being on the old gen, it's not going to look like that. Look too, much different from F1 2013, to be honest, in terms of they hit the roof with what they could really do on how it looks and stuff like that. But hopefully the handling is a lot different, but we'll get back to that. So getting on to the next screenshot, this is the Austria ring, the Red Bull ring with the Red Bull sculpture. So it's just good to note that they've added in the sculpture and that they've focused on a bit more of the detail of the circuit. Sometimes they might forget some of the big details of the circuit. Moving on to the actual proper first interesting screenshot, which is the Mercedes, the first glimpse of the F1 2014 cars from the F1 2014 game. So we've got the Mercedes coming out the garage. So I think they were trying to recreate like the testing kind of thing at the beginning. So you've got the Mercedes coming out the garage. So you've got the usual stuff. You've got the tailpipe out the back that you can't see there, but obviously no exhaust from the side pods. You've got that low nose, no profile nose. Interesting to add that all these cars are from the first week of when the cars were announced, so it's a very, like the usual Codemasters thing. You won't see the cars like they were at the end of the season. You'll see them how they were at the beginning. So obviously Mercedes' nose kind of changed a bit halfway through the season, but we've got the nose from the beginning of the season. Going to the next one, we've got the McLaren one. As you can see, just about see at the bottom, you can see the nose is not the one they've been running now. The McLaren nose right now is a very kind of pointy one, but Australia, the first race of the season, it was a very curved one, and that's the one they've gone for the F1 2014 game. So just confirming that they always make the cars from the beginning, the press launches. And we've also got a little picture of Kevin Magnussen there in his new helmet with obviously the numbers at the top, bit blurry, but also if you can see just below his hands, we can see that the MP4 29 on the front of the car. So again, confirming that the McLaren is not going to have that black livery with the Johnny Walker or SAP logoing. It's going to have the plain MP4 29, the very just chrome and silver, no black involved livery. So again, confirming that they've started basing the cars yet again on the beginning of the season. Unfortunate to see. I would have liked McLaren to have maybe the black livery, but I'm sure on the PC we'll be able to find some mods for that very soon. So here another screenshot of the Force India. So again, they've confirming they've not kind of based it off later in the season. It's very much in the beginning of the season because, as you know, the Force India now has Smirnoff on the side pods. But that also comes back to there are some issues with F1 doing alcoholic sponsorship. We saw in the past that Red Bull, it took a while for the Red Bull cars to have Sing a Beer on the front. Only from the 2012 game has the F1 game had Sing a Beer on the Red Bull car. So it's probably going to be a while since we see Smirnoff on the side of the Force India. So that's also another thing. And I go on to that because a big thing was the fact that on the next screenshot, the Williams, as you can see, is missing all the red. There's no red and there's no Martini. And that's a big thing. That's because, you know, it's very hard for Codemasters to do alcoholic sponsorship. And so we saw Force India not having Smirnoff, and the Williams seemingly is not going to have any red and no Martini logo, perhaps. Maybe this is an early development, and maybe they've added in the red, but not just had the Martini logos. But they won't be having the Martini logos because they can't do the alcoholic sponsorship straight off the bat. It took, 2 years for the Red Bull to have Sing a Beer on the front of their car in the 2012 game. So that's quite a big deal in terms of maybe the Williams not fully being recreated as it is in the real life. But, you know, you got to respect all the sponsorships and the kind of issue with alcoholic branding with you know, worldwide being a PG-13 game and the game being released in certain countries where alcohol might be banned in terms of marketing and branding. So that's a quite interesting thing to note about the Williams not maybe truly being recreated. The next screenshot is the Red Bull. So I just wanted to note the whole kind of look of the Red Bull car. We've got the nose at the front, maybe looks a bit too thin for my liking, but just generally also looking at the look of the car, again, a bit disappointing maybe. I mean, it's to be expected since it's being released on the old gen platform. It looks a lot like, you know, the kind of whole look of the car, the coloring of the car, the kind of finish on the car, all looks like pretty much like 2013, to be honest. And, you know, we can't really expect too much because it is the old gen and we've hit a roof with that old gen stuff. So it's going to look a lot like F1 2013 with just different cars, to be honest. Moving on to the next one, we've got the Ferrari. Yet again, it sort of looks like the same sort of kind of color scheme, the same sort of lighting. There's no dramatic improvements. We saw from 2012 to 2013 the lighting improved dramatically. On this one, I'm not really seeing too many improvements on the lighting, but yeah, once again we've got the new cars. We've got that really ugly Ferrari nose, but it's growing on me. So going to the next screenshot. Now this was interesting. We've got a Red Bull in front of a Mercedes. Now I don't know what they're trying to pull here because a Red Bull's not meant to be in front of a Mercedes car unless maybe that Mercedes is having some sort of mechanical failure. I don't know, maybe we can read into that. Maybe mechanical failure is going to be in this game, and that's why the Mercedes is behind the Red Bull in this screenshot. But yeah, so just interesting to note that the Red Bull's in front, so I'm not too sure what Cody's were trying to pull there. Maybe they're just showcasing some online gameplay, I don't know. The Red Bull's not meant to be in front of the Mercedes unless it's got issues, to be honest. Going to the next one, we got a really nice screenshot of the Force India, Toro Rosso, and Caterham and Sauber in the background. Now this was quite interesting. We've got some on the bottom of the screen. We can see some shadows coming from the trees. Now generally there haven't been that many kind of like really proper shadows from the trees. There have been big patches of shade, but not like streaks of shadow from the trees. So that's pretty nice to see. Looking at the Toro Rosso, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not liking the look of that Toro Rosso nose. It looks very thin compared to what it is in real life. So obviously it's very hard to really detail it properly. But generally, that nose looks a bit thin for my liking in terms of the Toro Rosso. And the front wing looks really tiny as well on the Toro Rosso. So I don't know what you guys think of it. As always, comment below on your thoughts of what's been said in this video and on the trailer. Going to the next one, we've got the McLaren. And once again, now confirming that they are basing it on the beginning of the season. As we see that nose looks nothing like the McLaren nose now. Obviously, the McLaren nose now, it's a lot pointer and straighter. So confirming once again that they're making it on the beginning of the season. And of course, no black livery on the McLaren. So again, disappointing maybe to see that once again they can't really base it on the current kind of what the cars look like on the current season. Going on to this next screenshot of the wet. So we got the full wet tires on the Ferrari at the moment. Now this is a lot better of a screenshot of the Ferrari. The Ferrari does look pretty nice here in this screenshot, and the wet weather pretty much looks the same as the F1 2013 game. So again, a bit disappointing, not gonna lie. It looks like exactly the same as F1 2013. Going to the next screenshot. Now this is the first screenshot we've got of a T-cam or an offset T-cam. We've got it of the Force India here. So with the Force India, obviously, we've got the offset T-cam. We can see the 27 of Nico Hülkenberg of the helmet, so they've had to position it so we can see the driver number as it is in real life. The mirrors on the left and right mirror look pretty much the same, no updates there from F1 2013. We're here at Hockenheim as well, so again, Hockenheim's going to be in the game. And again, as we look at the Williams, no red stripe there, so again, missing the branding of Martini and the red stripe. But generally, this T-cam looks pretty okay from the Force India, and also confirming that you won't be able to see the ugly noses, so it'll just look like you're driving any old F1 car, to be honest. So no need to kind of cover your eyes up when you're playing the game. Going to the next screenshot. Now this is a much better screenshot to showcase the new F1 wheels. As you can see clearly the Sauber F1 with the LED screen showing Gear 4. So this is a very nice improvement. Good to see that they've implemented it with the LED screens. So obviously we've got the likes of the Mercedes with the new wheel. The Mclaren has this. The Red Bull doesn't. The Sauber does. The Force India doesn't. So a few cars will have the LED screen, a few won't. So it's good to see that Codemasters are differentiating between the steering wheels and putting in the effort to make the little details inside the cockpit. As we go into the next screenshot, again confirming that they have the LED screens with the Mercedes and the Mercedes T-cam as well. As we can see, he's battling Rosberg, so they're trying to recreate the Bahrain Grand Prix. And as you can see, it's the Bahrain circuit, and how many floodlights have they spammed around the circuit? Jesus, that is a lot of floodlights. But yeah, the Mercedes T-cam looks pretty alright. They've recreated it quite faithfully from the real life. You can see the kind of horn-like camera positions of the Mercedes up front. You can see the front wing pretty nicely, the same way it is in real life. I'm not gonna lie, the green, the kind of turquoise stripes on the left and right of the cockpit do look a bit too kind of like lines, and they're not really faded in a bit. So maybe just again showing that because it is an old gen, they can't really get the proper kind of real to life look of the cars. Going to the next screenshot, we see some damage from the Sauber, confirming that the damage system is not going to be altered for the F1 2014 game, at least on the old gen platform. In terms of you know, they haven't really changed it much. The front wing can come off. Looks like not much else can break. I mean, you've got the antenna nose, or the penis nose, as people like to call it. That's not broken off, so that's even a bit of a weirder thing to see, that that's not broken off in the damage. So the damage model hasn't really changed too much. Going to the next one, we've got Pastor Maldonado. He is confirmed in the game. This is not a good thing. He will surely be crashing all of us out, and I'll probably be getting pissed off in my career mode if he crashes me out. So that's a very important, probably the most important thing. Pastor Maldonado, confirmed. So we've got our next screenshot of the McLaren. Now, this is pretty good to see. We've got a really nice detailed McLaren exhaust pipe coming out, and we've got that, obviously, the mushroom-shaped suspension that I've been talking about quite a lot in my Let's Talk Grand Prix at the beginning of the season. So it's good to see that they've really gone high detail with the different cars, and they've not kind of cut corners with how the McLaren looks at the back. It's a very distinct look, so they're going for very distinct looks with all the cars. Obviously, being with the real-life season, all the cars look very distinctly different. But yeah, we didn't hear, surprisingly, any sound of the cars in the trailer. So that suggests to me that maybe they're still developing the sound of the cars, but also maybe it was at a very early stage that they didn't want to show any sound. So that was another big thing I picked up on, no sound of their V6 cars in the trailer. So that was quite a weird thing not to hear and see. So now we got a screenshot of all the cars on the grid going through Austria Turn 1. So nothing much to see here, I just wanted to look at all the kind of cars going through Austria Turn 1. We've got both Mercedes not first and second, so yet again I'm questioning why they're not there. I really hope that this is not spelling anything for, in career mode, the Mercedes won't be 1 and 2 every race, because that is realistic. The Mercedes being 1 and 2 pretty much every race will be a realistic thing in career mode, so bit kind of worrying maybe that they're behind the Ferrari and the Williams, but I don't know, I guess I'm maybe reading too much into it. And the next screenshot is going to be the Mercedes, so once again confirming that the old nose is used, because as you will now note in the new season, the nose is a lot higher on the Mercedes, and this is the shorter nose they produced at the Jerez test. The front wing looks pretty basic in terms of it doesn't look as complicated as it is in real life, and once again, generally looking at how the car looks, it's very old gen. It looks the same as F1 2013. A bit disappointing that F1 2014 is not going to be out on the new gen, but obviously I've got another video coming later today which will hopefully bring some happy news for next-gen people for F1 games. I'll talk about that later in that video. But yeah, F1 2014 will be only on old-gen. So that has been it. That has been the breakdown for the trailer. That is F1 2014 on the old-gen consoles. So it will not be coming to the new gen, so not coming to PS4, Xbox One. It's coming to PC, PS3, and Xbox 360, as I said, on the 17th of October. For the UK and 21st of October for the US. Now, looking at the press release, I've been emailed by Codemasters. So they're going to say we're announcing 2 new titles, and this is a new roadmap for the F1 game. So 2 new titles. We've got F1 2014 coming out on the old-gen consoles, and as I've not mentioned until now, they are releasing a new F1 game in 2015 at the beginning of the season. I will be talking about that in a different video, so do go click my channel below, subscribe, and you can check out that video later on when it comes out. So F1 2014 will arrive on October the 17th for the Xbox 360, Microsoft PC, and PlayStation 3, and it's going to basically be old-gen, and that's going to be it. That's going to be probably the last hurrah for the old-gen consoles on F1. And so in terms of new features, it's going to have a new driver evaluation system, so that'll be a system where basically I'm going to guess they have a young drivers test at the beginning of the game, and that you're going to have to kind of go through the young drivers test or preseason testing, and based on how you kind of play, it will evaluate your driving and give you difficulty settings. So if you really are a noob, it will give you a really easy setting. If you're a seasoned pro, then it will give you a much harder setting in terms of assists and whatnot. But hopefully you will be able to go in there and also adjust it yourself. But here's the official release of F1 2014 in terms of all the detailing. So it's going to be combining an emphasis on racing skill and control in the game. So that says to me that they're obviously with the setups of F1 2014, there are no such things as gears now. You know, it's going to be fixed gear ratios. You cannot change the gear ratios in F1 2014. So they're putting a lot more emphasis on the racing skill and control. So I'm guessing they've made it a very slidey kind of car going with the 2014 season, a lot more torque than grip. So we're going to have to see, you know, in league racing and stuff like that, it's all going to be a lot more about your driving and less about setups perhaps. F1 2014 delivers a range of new gameplay modes and enhancements to create the more accessible F1 video game from Codemasters to date. So new gameplay modes, we've not really seen what that entails. They've not really specified what that means. But new gameplay modes has got to be probably another gimmick, to be honest, with the kind of champions mode and scenario mode. I think I read somewhere they've also put more scenarios. Yeah, they put more scenarios. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of putting more of these gimmicky game modes in, but, you know, I guess they want to try and attract kind of a broad variety of people. Expanded game modes, new career options, that's a big thing, new career options, so hopefully that means a lot more diverse career modes and a lot more what I said, a more immersive career mode, hopefully, and multiplayer modes extended by the RaceNet. So if you didn't know, RaceNet is Codemasters' kind of online challenge thing, so they might be implementing a lot more RaceNet challenges for multiplayer. And going on to say that they're having, obviously, the whole roster of the Russian Grand Prix at Sochi. They've got the Austria Grand Prix, the Red Bull Ring, and the Hockenheim Ring, and also the experience of the Bahrain Grand Prix, which has the full night race, including its full day-to-night transition, because, of course, in the practice sessions for Bahrain, it is daytime, and then by the race, it is nighttime. And finally, it says users will have to require greater throttle car control ever than before. In F1 2014, players will experience the dramatic effect in handling of the world's most advanced racing cars. So again, saying that it might be more on the driving and less on the setups. So I'm going to predict that they're going to have a bit less emphasis on setups and stuff like that. It's going to be a bit more about how you drive the car, coming out the corners, getting the traction right, and it's going to be a lot more challenging to get out of the corners, shall we say. Probably a bit more, even more challenging than F1 2013. I know a few of you have stated that it's very hard sometimes on a pad or a keyboard to come out the corners and not slide, but it's going to get a lot more slidey, obviously, being the F1 2014 recreation. But yeah, that has been the full F1 2014 kind of trailer breakdown and press release breakdown. As you can see, a few screenshots going through here as I'm outering the video. This has been the announcement for F1 2014. If you did enjoy this video, give it a like, comment below on what you thought about the F1 2014 announcement. Subscribe to my channel, because in a few minutes time I will also be uploading an F1 2015 video. Yes, F1 2015. Stay tuned. tuned, subscribe to my channel, and you will find out what all that good stuff is about for F1 2015 coming soon. So I've been aarava. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys next time, probably in the next video about F1 2014. So see you then.